Hey everyone, before we dive into this story, please hit that subscribe button to join my channel for more heartfelt tales like this one. My name's Ellie and I'm 28. Last week, my sister told me to eat in the kitchen since, as an adopted kid, I didn't belong at the family table. The whole room erupted in laughter, like it was the cleverest quip they'd ever heard. I scanned the faces of the people I'd called family my entire life, watching them dab tears of amusement as my heart broke into countless fragments. But I forced a smile, reached into my bag, and slid an envelope onto Mom's finest china in the middle of the table. "You might want to get your lawyers on the phone," I said, my voice calm and unyielding. "We've got a meeting tomorrow about Mom and Dad's will. You'll want to hear what unfolded next." Let me rewind to explain how we ended up here, because this didn't begin at that dinner table in our family's home in suburban Raleigh, North Carolina. It started 6 months prior when my world unraveled. Both my parents caught COVID-19 within days of each other during that brutal winter wave. While my three older siblings, Mark, Lisa, and Emily, were too preoccupied with their own concerns to visit, I was the one who stepped up. I left my kids, Sophie and Ben, with my husband, Tom, and practically moved into the hospital for weeks. My siblings had their excuses. Mark said his high-stakes finance job in downtown Raleigh was too important to risk getting sick. He'd take my desperate calls between client meetings, always sounding distant, checking his phone as I tried to update him on Mom's oxygen levels. Lisa claimed her young twins kept her tethered to home, insisting she couldn't expose them to the virus. Emily, who ran hospital operations for a living, said she couldn't bear to see our parents so ill. The irony wasn't lost on me. A woman who oversaw medical logistics couldn't face her own parents struggling to breathe. But I was there every day, holding their hands through plastic gloves, speaking to doctors through clouded face shields, making gut-wrenching choices about ventilators and untested treatments. The nurses knew me by name. The ICU team would pull me aside to brace me for bad news before it was official. When Mom needed someone to authorize a costly treatment insurance wouldn't cover, it was my name on the form. When Dad's condition took a turn and they needed someone to stay overnight despite visitor bans, I slept in a stiff hospital chair until my back ached and my neck stiffened into knots. While my siblings sent flowers that nurses discarded due to infection rules and texts asking for updates to post online, I lived this nightmare in real time. I watched the two people I loved most fade away despite medicine's best efforts. I learned terms like ventilator settings and blood oxygen saturation I never wanted to know. I became well-versed in the language of critical care and declining health. Mom passed on a Tuesday morning in early March as I held her hand through a plastic sheet, whispering assurances that I'd look after Dad and keep him company. Dad died 3 days later. On Friday, his final words, I swear, were "look after Ellie." At the time, I thought he meant emotionally, helping me navigate the grief of losing both parents in 72 hours. I had no clue what he and Mom had been planning during those agonizing months when they knew their time was short. The funeral was a theatrical spectacle. Suddenly, my siblings were front and center, sobbing dramatically for all to see, accepting sympathies as if they'd been the devoted children all along. People praised Mark for his strength, admired Lisa's bravery, and told Emily how much her parents cherished her commitment. The irony hit hard as I stood there, hollow-eyed from 6 months of real caregiving, real sacrifice, real love, while they played the part of grieving children for a crowd unaware of the truth. Being adopted into a family with biological siblings is a strange thing. No matter how much your parents adore you, your siblings never let you forget you're different. As kids, it's not always mean-spirited, just small remarks that erode your sense of belonging over time. "You're not our real sister," or "Mom and Dad chose us naturally, but they picked you like a stray dog." It starts as childish teasing, brushed off by adults as typical sibling squabbles. But it doesn't stop. It just gets subtler, harder to call out without seeming overly sensitive. Growing up in Raleigh, I watched my siblings form a tight circle I could never fully enter. As adults, they perfected the art of quiet exclusion. Family photos at Thanksgiving I wasn't invited to because they forgot to mention the gathering at Mark's lake house. Christmas mornings at Lisa's I learned about through social media. inside jokes that fell silent when I entered the room, leaving me feeling like an outsider in conversations about memories from before I joined the family at age 4. My kids' birthday parties were somehow too inconvenient for my siblings to attend, though they never missed each other's kids' events at fancy venues or trampoline parks. Sophie would ask why Aunt Lisa skipped her party, but went to Cousin Ava's the week before. Ben wondered why Uncle Mark never came to his school play, but drove hours for Cousin Ethan's baseball game. It was a slow, steady wound, each cut too small to justify complaint, but together they left me longing to belong, to be chosen every day. The message was clear beneath their polite smiles. You're family, but not quite. You're included, but with limits. You're loved, but differently, with boundaries biological kids never face. They never said it outright as adults, but I felt it in every overlooked invitation, every subtle slight. Every holiday I spent wondering why I wasn't enough. But Mom and Dad were different. They never made me feel like anything less than their true daughter. When I struggled with math, Dad sat with me at the kitchen table for hours, patiently explaining fractions and algebra without a hint of frustration. When my heart broke at 16 over a boy named Jake Carter, Mom held me as I sobbed and jokingly threatened to have a word with him. They attended every recital, every graduation, every milestone, radiating pride that felt real and unwavering. They were my anchor in a family that often felt like turbulent waters, a constant reminder that I was chosen, wanted, loved, not despite my adoption, but because I was their daughter in every way that mattered. When people made careless comments about my adoption at church or block parties, Mom would get a fierce glint in her eyes and shut them down. Ellie's our daughter in every way, she'd say firmly. Family isn't about blood, it's about love. After the funeral, we gathered at Mom and Dad's 2-story colonial for the customary post-burial meal. Their empty chairs at the dining table felt like a silent accusation, a reminder that the people who held us together were gone. My siblings quickly shifted to practical matters, selling the house, splitting heirlooms, closing accounts, handling the messy aftermath of death. It made my stomach churn, how fast they moved from mourning to money. We should get the house appraised soon, Mark said, slicing his roast like we were planning a weekend getaway. The market's strong in this area, Lisa chimed in, already divvying up profits in her head. We need to catalog Mom's jewelry professionally. That sapphire pendant alone is worth a fortune. That's when Emily announced a family dinner the following week, her smile carrying that familiar childhood edge, sweet but sharp. Let's do this right, she said. A proper family meal to sort everything out like adults. The next morning, I got a call from Harper and Sons, my parents' attorney. Ellie, we need to meet about your parents' estate. There are urgent details to go over before the formal reading. Can you come by this afternoon? The lawyer's tone sent a jolt through me. In their downtown office, surrounded by leather chairs and a polished oak desk, Attorney James Harper handed me a folder. Your parents revised their will 6 months ago, after your father's diagnosis, he said, studying my reaction. Ellie, they left everything to you. The house, the investment portfolio, the life insurance, all of it. I stared, uncomprehending. What about Mark, Lisa, and Emily? Harper opened the folder, revealing page after page of legal documents. They're not listed as beneficiaries. Your parents were clear. The house in Raleigh was worth about $850,000. The investment accounts totaled $1.2 million. Life insurance policies added $500,000. They'd also set up trust funds for Sophie and Ben's education. My hands trembled as he handed me a sealed envelope. Your mother left this for you. Her familiar handwriting blurred through my tears. Dearest Ellie, if you're reading this, your father and I are gone. We saw how your siblings treated you all these years. Every slight, every exclusion, every time they made you feel less than. When we got sick, we weren't surprised by who showed up. You gave up everything to care for us, left your kids, exhausted yourself, made impossible choices while they sent texts. This isn't about punishing them. It's about protecting you and honoring the daughter who honored us. You were chosen at 4 when we adopted you from foster care. Now we choose you again. Build a beautiful life. Love, Mom and Dad. I went to Emily's dinner as planned. The table was set with Mom's fine china, the same plates we use for every Sunday supper and holiday. My siblings were already debating how to split assets, tapping away at spreadsheets on their phones. Then Lisa made her jab about adopted kids eating in the kitchen, and everyone laughed like it was comedy gold. I waited for the chuckles to fade, then pulled the envelope from my bag and set it in the center of the table. "You'll want to call your lawyers," I said evenly. "We're meeting tomorrow at 9 o'clock at Harper & Sons about Mom and Dad's will. I suggest you show up." Mark grabbed the envelope first, his finance brain spotting the official letterhead. His face paled as he read. Emily snatched it next, her composure fracturing. "This can't be right," she stammered. Lisa burst into tears, not of sorrow but of fury and disbelief. I stood, sliding my chair back deliberately. "Mom and Dad saw you exclude me for 24 years. Every missed invitation, every snide remark, every time you made me feel like an outsider. When they were dying, when they needed their kids, I was there alone. You made your choices. They made theirs. The house, the investments, the insurance, it's all mine. That's what happens when you treat family like they're expendable." I walked to the door, then turned back. "I'll be listing the house soon. The memories there aren't worth keeping." Driving home felt like a dream. In 48 hours, I'd gone from family outcast to a level of financial security I'd never imagined. Tom was waiting in the kitchen with coffee and worried eyes. "How'd it go?" he asked, pulling me close. I buried my face in his chest and let the tears come. "They left me everything," I whispered. "The house, the investments, everything. We're set for life." He lifted me off the floor, spinning me like we were newlyweds again. Sophie and Ben ran in, drawn by the noise. At 12 and 10, they understood loss but not inheritance. "What's going on?" Sophie asked. I knelt down. "Grandma and Grandpa left us money to take care of our family. It means Mommy and Daddy can work less and spend more time with you." Ben's face lit up. "Can we get a dog now?" In the weeks that followed, my siblings tried to mend fences. Mark called constantly, swinging between legal threats and pleas about family ties. Lisa showed up unannounced, sobbing about her money troubles. Emily sent cards and flowers, as if gestures could undo years of hurt. But I stayed true to my parents' wishes. Then, in the grocery store, someone called my name. I turned to see Karen Lee, a social worker from the hospital who'd helped with my parents' care. We talked about grief and healing. Then Karen's tone shifted. "Ellie, you mentioned you were adopted, right? There's a situation at work that made me think of you. 2 little sisters, ages 3 and 4, lost their parents to COVID complications 6 weeks ago. They're in foster care now." My heart tightened. "Do they have family to take them?" Karen shook her head. "No one able or willing to take both girls. They need a forever home. They're sweet kids, Mia and Lily, but they've been through so much." Something stirred in me, a memory of being small, scared, and needing a family to choose me. Tom and I went through the rigorous 8-month adoption process. Home visits, background checks, financial reviews, therapy sessions. Sophie and Ben were interviewed about gaining siblings. Sophie was thrilled, already planning to teach the girls to braid hair. Ben vowed to share his favorite toys. Finally, we brought Mia and Lily home. That first night, as I tucked them into their new beds and read their favorite story 3 times, Lily looked up with solemn eyes. "Are you our mommy now?" "For real." I smoothed her hair and kissed her forehead. "Forever and always, sweetheart. You're safe. You're home." A year later, I hosted Sunday dinner at our new house, with space for everyone and a big backyard. Watching Sophie teach Mia and Lily to make friendship bracelets while Ben helped Tom grill burgers, I felt whole. Emily called during dessert. "Ellie, I saw the adoption announcement. You looked so happy." I took a breath. "I forgave you all months ago," I said. "But forgiveness doesn't mean we're family again. Too much has happened." After hanging up, Tom wrapped his arms around me. "Everything's perfect," I said, meaning every word. If this story touched your heart, subscribe for more stories about choosing love over blood.